All right, welcome to the draft special for after reviewing the play. And you might be asking, why are we doing a draft special right now at the beginning of the season? Well, you already did your draft. You already probably know what you did. So we're just going to share what we did. The after reviewing the play crew, we had a good time. We actually, we did a live draft. I know it's COVID time, but we were very safe. We all had our mask on and everything. We don't have footage of that, but I do got the draft board behind me, and me and Tom, we're gonna go through the picks of what everybody chose, and we're gonna do a Yahoo based grade, except it's not gonna be Yahoo because I feel like we actually know a little bit about sports. So without further ado, let's analyze this draft. So first, let me cover what type of draft this is. It is a quarter point PPR because I personally hate PPR. I don't even like half point PPR, but just to give some receivers a little bit more value in tight ends, we went quarter point PPR, and we also added a receiver tight end flex, if you want to call it. So the lineups are one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, a receiver tight end flex, a regular flex tight end, defense, and kicker. We got 7 bench spots, and we got IR spots. We got 3 of those because COVID. How do you feel about the draft, Tom? I'll edit everything
up. Feel strong. All
right.
I mean, number one, it's fun. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it comes down to your draft order. No one wants to pick, 1, 2, and 3. It's a tough place to draft. So I think as far as our analysis, we'll go in order with whomever drafted first, see how they did. We'll put a grade on them.
All right. So let's start it off. So the first person to draft, and we all have, some of us have better draft names than others. I think Manny, I'm not going to mention everyone's name. He just I'm sorry, Manny, your name just got mentioned. But Dragon Ball's Deep, they were the first person to draft. And of course they drafted Christian McCaffrey. But overall, what did you think about his draft? Like analyze
his draft. First of all, as a big a Giants fan as I am, you have to take McCaffrey first overall. The problem with drafting first is now you have to wait for your next pick. All the running backs are going to be gone, all of them. So he got Chris Carson as his next pick, I believe, and that's a quality running back. Not the sexiest name like James Conner. Some of them, they're solid, and they'll give you the points. So I think he was very lucky to pick up Chris Carson. He's got Josh Allen as his quarterback. I like Josh Allen. Especially for fantasy, every 5-yard rush, I'll take those points.
Exactly, especially if you're going to be scoring 10 touchdowns rushing.
And the AFC East kind of just imploded, I think. I think they're actually terrible. And that's mostly because the Patriots, they had so many opt-outs.
I was about to say, they didn't implode. The Patriots just got worse. The division is still just terrible.
I think the Patriots went into rebuild mode. So, yeah, Josh Allen, he finally has a deep threat, so he's going to put up big numbers. We're a wide receiver heavy league. You really need quality wide receivers, and this guy got Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Jarvis Landry. Those are all his wide receiver one. In my opinion, Calvin Ridley, I think, will do better than Julio Jones.
Wow, all right.
Same with Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to be the best receiver on the team. Same with Jarvis Landry. I think he's going to be the best receiver on that team. Even though
are you a Giants fan? Do you like Odell? Are you mad at the news that came up out about this week?
Well, he gets a lot of attention on and off the field, so that's Landry will benefit from that.
Yeah, I am okay with this pick. Of course, so some of the players that went a little bit later, I felt like he could have taken. I think he's really weak at running back. He drafted Jamal Williams, who I think is not going to see the field unless Aaron Jones gets hurt. He drafted Denzel Mims, which I'm not too big on. You could have waited to see if he was going to do good. This is a redraft. It's not a dynasty league or anything like that. So there's no point in drafting him. I'm actually really big on him drafting Ruggs. Ruggs is I think the big sleeper on his team.
I think he needs to start him. He's got 2 tight ends because we have that wide receiver tight end flex. He already has George Kittle.
Right, which is amazing.
Yeah, go ahead and just put Henry Ruggs into the flex position.
Right.
Over Dallas Goedert.
Right, and what you guys are seeing, you're seeing the Lions before they've been tweaked before week 1. He has he has time before he has to tweak his lineup. None of these players play until Sunday, so except for Duke Johnson, so he has time to tweak his lineup and everything. We're ranking the whole team, what he has here. I just think that he's if any one of his running backs goes down, which he, in my opinion, only has 2 running backs that are viable starters. If any of them go down, his team is kind of screwed, especially Christian McCaffrey.
That's the problem with drafting first overall, is you get that superstar. In a league like ours, by the time it comes back to you, all the running backs are gone. So yeah. I think he managed to put together a very good team. As far as the running back situation, probably waiver wire, see how the weeks progress. Someone's going to break out. And yeah, that's why you have to manage it.
All right. Well, what would you give him as a grade?
A solid B. Solid B. I want to give him a B plus, but yeah,
right.
I like what he was able to do, because again, it's not easy drafting in the first position.
All right. I give him a D plus. Maybe I'm the Russian judge here. I have to give him a D plus. You're
not a fan of these rookie wide receivers like Ruggs and even Denzel Mims. I would love to have Mims on my bench because I think he'll break out.
I am not. I am a believer in there are some receivers who break out early. Most of them take a couple years to break out, and I literally don't trust anybody on the Jets that hasn't at least gone and succeeded somewhere else. So
I don't trust anyone who roots for the Jets, but I'm from New York, so
all right.
Let's do this.
All right, so the number 2 pick, that is Carolina Sad Boys. He had the number 2 pick, so he got the prize of 1A. He picked up Saquon Barkley at the number 2, the 1.2 spot, and his draft was okay. Again, we're a wide receiver heavy league, and again, running backs just went off the table like crazy. So he was left without a lot of running backs, and of course we did our draft a couple weeks ago. It was before the Fournette news, so Fournette being in Tampa, we'll see about other people's drafts later, really affected a lot of people's drafts. But he got Fournette. He's not even the number 1 running back, at least this week. So
we don't know.
Exactly. we have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen with Fournette or anyone in Tampa for that matter.
All right. Well, this sad boy. Speaking of that, this sad boy took Saquon Barkley, which is you can't lose unless you're actually on the Giants. Kerryon Johnson is the number 2 running back, and they just signed AP. I don't think Adrian Peterson is going to really start. I think it's because Bo Scarborough got hurt that they were interested in having AP as their number 3 running back.
Right. The scary thing is that well, first of all, DeAndre Swift is kind of hurt. Like he's got soft tissue injuries right now, so I don't know when he's going to be 100%. But they bought in AP because they're probably not going to give the ball to Kerryon at the goal line. It's going to be AP time.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that's what really affects Kerryon's carries, is that you have someone who's going to take the goal line carries. You have DeAndre Swift, which is kind of like your all-purpose 3-down back. Where does that leave Kerryon? Like he's there, but what do you do if it seems like the team lost trust in him? So I don't know.
No, I think it's going to be DeAndre Swift's team, which is why I drafted him. Spoiler alert for later in the draft. But because of the injury, I'm not going to start him week 1. So Kerryon Johnson starting week 1 against Chicago. I think that's a good pick. He also has Pat Mahomes as his quarterback, so you can't really complain. DJ Moore, I think is going to be fantastic. Tyler Lockett, solid as always. Marvin Jones, I think Mr. Carolina picked him up late.
I was about to say Marvin Jones is going late.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why. He is going to shine in that Detroit offense, especially if Matt Stafford can stay healthy all year. They're going to be tossing up like all kinds of just throwing the ball up and down the field because they have to, because their defense is terrible.
And our Carolina sad boy has Leonard Fournette on his bench. I wouldn't start him week 1 because you have to see how Tampa is going to use him. Yep. I think he'll be a power back like he was, and I think he's going to be very successful there.
Yeah, he's going to eat touchdowns, which concerns me. Spoiler alert for my draft. But he's going to be a touchdown eater, and like he might not catch a lot of balls out the backfield. They might need to get him up to speed, but he's a top 5 draft pick, like literal in the NFL draft. And I don't think he's Trent Richardson. I think he could be still very special. Like everyone was saying, like he's the next Saquon Barkley or the next Adrian Peterson. They thought he was that good. So, like, of course, Tampa Bay got him at an absolute steal because they literally paid nothing for him.
And he had more. People were writing him off, including me, because of the injuries. And he still managed to put together, I think, a couple of 200-yard games throughout that. I mean, he's had injuries, but it's football. It's going to happen. He's a very tough player. He's one of the best power backs in the league, I think. And I think he has he's revitalized on a new team.
Right, and he's on a team that's not going to focus on him. He was in Jacksonville, where it's like I'm the literal only person. That's all there is. Yeah, like I'm the literal only person carrying this team. I would say the steal for him is Carolina Sad Boys was able to get Deebo Samuel really late because
he has a very interesting bench. Not only Deebo, who is by week maybe 3 or 4 could be a real stud.
Yeah.
He's got Bryan Edwards on his bench. I think it was probably his last pick for depth, who could break out later in the season. He's got Jared Cook. If you notice, he's got a lot of Carolina Gamecocks, does he not?
Yeah.
So he's got that inside information.
Yeah, exactly. Like
him.
I could tell he was targeting him at the end of the draft, and I was going to pick Bryan Edwards. I didn't want to waste him with any pick other than the last pick, just because there was so little information on him. But he got to him before me. What would you give him for a grade?
I almost want to give him an A-, but I don't like Nyheim Hines in that flex position. He's got the Ravens defense. Can't go wrong there. They play the NFC East, which is terrible. B++. I'll give him that. You know what? No, I got to give him. Yeah, it's just a little tiny bit weak at running back. I almost gave him an A-, but no, the B++.
Right. Again, Russian Judge, I'm going to have to give him a solid C. He does have a decent bench. It really depends on how Fournette's going to do.
Yes, definitely.
But he is really weak at running back. Like come week 4, he might not have the only starting running back he'll have on his team is Saquon.
Okay. When you're picking in the top 3 in this league, by the time the draft comes back to you, all the running backs are gone. So yeah, that's what we're seeing here.
Also, I do want to point out Jerick McKinnon. Like he got him also really late.
Very late.
That could be a super sleeper pick as well. So like it would be a C- if it wasn't for McKinnon. So speaking of 3, let's go to pick 3, and we have Unsung Hero, and I'm a fan of this team. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of this team. I'm actually a little jelly of this team. Peanut butter and jelly. It's a good draft. He did a good draft.
Yeah, he took Ezekiel Elliott, the 3rd pick, which is a given.
Standard. Yeah.
It's basically the Zeke Elliott pick is 3. Like, I'm picking 3. Okay, that's Zeke Elliott. He's probably going to lead the league in rushing. He has a significantly better offensive line than Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. His team is not tanking. His team is 10th on the Super Bowl. The Giants and the Panthers probably aren't. So that gives an edge to Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
He managed to get James Conner when the draft came back to him, which is not a sexy name as far as running backs, but guess what? He just performs. And that Steelers team is going to be legit. And with their defense, they're probably just going to have to run the ball to close out games. Russell Wilson, a quarterback, one of the best fantasy quarterbacks, probably top 3, 4. So, solid there. Adam Thielen is, I would say he would drop off because he benefited a lot from Stefan Diggs. But now that they have Justin Jefferson stretching the field, Thielen is going to put up the same numbers. Speaking of Diggs, he's got friggin' Diggs. How do you get Diggs? Josh Allen just loves to throw the ball deep. And Diggs is one of the best deep threats currently in the game. Top maybe 5. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is absolutely going to destroy teams. A dangerous receiving core there. You're not going to be able to double team him. Darren Waller as his tight end. Another going with Zach Moss in his flex position, I think, is going to take over as the bell cow running back in Buffalo. If not week 1, then week 2 or 3, because that's coming very soon. And he's got the Bills defense. I mean, this is a very solid team. What do you think about his bench? He's got quality players on his bench. He's got Michael Pittman Jr. might be the takeover as the number 1 in Indy.
I was just about to say his bench is actually looking pretty good too. Unsung hero, if you're listening to this, which you better be, I want to make a deal with you right now for Mecole Hardman. Just let me know what you want from Mecole and let's talk. Because I'm really digging Mecole Hardman. He's got a lot of balance on his team. Especially picking at the 1-3 area, his balance is that's actually amazing because Noah Fant is backup tight end. Noah Fant can put up 100 yards a game. Right. He can easily go for 20 points easily, especially in our league. So he could go so many different ways. Frank Gore, he's a perfect filler running back if any of his top guys get hurt. He's got Darrell Williams back up Clyde Edwards. So the second Clyde Edwards goes down, who's a small running back. Clyde Edwards only 5'8", 170 pounds. So Darrell Williams is definitely in play a little later in the season. Right. He's checked all the boxes. His team is one of the most balanced teams in our draft. I would say that I'm even his kicker is amazing to me because Arizona's going to put up a lot of points. They play in a dome. You get a dome kicker, scores a lot of points, win. I like it. Yeah, I would give his draft. I would give him a A-. This is a good draft for me. I almost want to give him an A+, but I think A+ is reserved for just a special team. This is close. I have to give it an A, and especially where he picked. Because it's a long time in between picks. Right. And he managed to put together a very well-balanced team, like you said. So, well done. The fact, and the funny thing is if I can't recall, I have the draft board right here. I'm gonna look back at it. He actually got James Conner in the 3rd round. So he took Thielen second. So So no excuses for Carolina Sad Boys. He could have had another starting running back. Yeah. Well, again, I blame James Conner because he's just not a sexy running back. He's not sexy. He's serviceable. He looks sexy when he flexes, but when he runs the ball, it's a different story. It's especially that's the thing is a lot of teams judge the Steelers on last year when Ben Roethlisberger played 2 quarters. And they literally had probably the worst passing game in the last 10 years. They had nothing. Their quarterback was named Duck Dodgers or Duck Rogers, whatever his name was. Duck Hodges. He was 21st century. It was amazing. Terrible. Okay. All right. So we're go to the number 4 pick, and this is the Hitman. Really? Yeah, the Hitman. The Hitman. His team is I think it's kind of cool. It's my team. So I feel like I shouldn't talk about this. I'm gonna tell you what I don't like. but Tom, have at it. Destroy my team. Yeah. Well, first pick, Alvin Kamara, which makes a lot of sense. This was before there was talk about a contract dispute and holding out. Just today, he said that he would never hold out, has never held out. So I'm not concerned about that at this point. I think he'll be 100%. Nick Chubb as your second running back is fantastic. That's my fault for letting him get past me again. Wide receiver, I'm not crazy about Terry McLaurin like other people. Wow. I'm just not because of the quarterback situation there, because of that team.
is trash. I like Deshaun Jackson in Philly. I drafted Jalen Reagor, even though he's hurt. I ended up waiving him, but they have to throw the ball to someone, and Carson Wentz is healthy. He's going to be throwing the ball to someone. And I think Deshaun Jackson is pretty much all they have right now.
That's right. That's what I'm hoping.
Tyler Boyd, not crazy. I think in my opinion, I think you drafted him a little high. I'm actually big on T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins will do very well. Not someone you're going to start week 1, 2, or 3, but later. I think long term.
Yeah, well, I think like T. Higgins is one of those guys. I'm big on him too. I think he'll be good, but there are so many receivers in for the Bengals that he's the number 4 right now. And like,
you still have AJ Green. So.
Yeah, like AJ, this thing, like I'm thinking he's going to get hurt, but just in case he doesn't, and then you still have John Brown, which also I'm thinking he's going to get hurt, but just in case he doesn't, like and Tyler Boyd has always been there, and he's always been that number 1, and even Higgins missed some time. So the only receivers that Burrow was throwing to for a good 2 weeks was Auden Tate and Tyler Boyd. So the chemistry's already there. So I was like, I can't miss them. And they're going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to throw the ball a lot. And that was my logic behind those picks.
Well done. Your tight end is Hayden Hurst, which I love. He's a former first-round pick, and I've seen him in practice making one-hand catches, and he wasn't allowed to or wasn't able to shine in Baltimore just because he was kind of far down on the depth chart.
Right.
Just odd for a first-round pick. He's a first-round talent. And they lost Austin Hooper, who I never thought was that good. I just thought he worked well in that system. You have Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu and Calvin Ridley. So Hayden Hurst has the ability to put up incredible numbers, and I think he will.
I hope so.
Yeah, pretty sure he will. You have Jonathan Taylor in your flex. I don't know how we let this happen, because you talk about someone who could put up record-breaking numbers on the Colts with that offensive line blocking, because Marlon Mack was never that good, and he put up incredible numbers because of the offensive line. Now you got a stud, a legitimate, Iron Man here, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say about Jonathan Taylor is he has Saquon-like numbers, like especially for his combine and his track record in college.
He's a machine, absolute machine.
And then on top of that, he didn't get drafted in Saquon position. He got drafted to a team that probably has one of the best offensive lines in football. And it's I don't understand how I had to take him. I had to take him early.
Yeah, because any running back can succeed on that team. And you take one of the best coming out of college, and it's a home run. Especially wherever you drafted him. I know you drafted him probably with your 3rd overall pick.
Yeah,
maybe.
My 3rd pick.
Yeah, because it wasn't getting past me. You have the Vikings defense, and they're so good. The rookies they got, the defensive ends they got now, and this is before I think you picked them up after the Yannick Ngakoue trade.
Yes, but Daniil Hunter actually is on IR right now. Yeah, that one hurt is not season-ending IR. Like he's gonna like have a chance to come back mid-season, but. Yeah, I was hoping. I think wishing and praying that
they have 2 Pro Bowl safeties. They have stud linebackers, stud defensive ends, and their division is kind of I don't know.
Well, like Mitchell Trubisky, they have to play him twice a year, so that's what I'm betting on.
Oh boy, I don't want to play you those weeks. Let's take a look at your bench. J.K. Dobbins. My goodness. Yeah, you can't start on week 1, but by week 5 or 6, on that team that loves to run, Jesus.
That's the move that I'm hoping for, is that he's going to be one of those late season plays. He's going to contender. Yeah. They're going to try to win. They got an old man running back in Ingram who I'm not hoping he does, but like he's going to wear down, and then it's going to become Dobbins' team.
He kind of tends to wear down later in this season, and that's when you have a Gus Edwards, pop out of nowhere and put up incredible numbers, because that team was built to run.
Yep.
And yeah, it'll be his team eventually. Definitely worth having on your bench. Speaking of being worth on your bench, Justin Jefferson, I've always been big on him. He looks amazing in practice. And Kirk Cousins like to throw the ball. So I would feel confident starting him. I want to see him play week 1. I think after week 1, I think everyone's going to be running to the waiver wire for Justin Jefferson.
I believe that's why I have to pick him up. Is like he's one of those, like he's already the receiver number 2. You were talking about T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson had an outstanding combine. I thought the Eagles should have drafted Justin Jefferson because they need something like that. They decided to go with Rieger. I think Jefferson is a lot less pressure on him because he has Thielen there to like lessen the slack, give him a little bit more room. He's not going to have the number 1 corner on him at any given time. They play in a dome. They play on an offense that wants to run the football, so there's not going to be a lot of tension on him. So when he does get the ball, he's going to explode. Like he only probably get 7 targets a game, if that, but those targets, they could be, 40, 50, 60 yards. All right.
I mean, well, you have Deontay Johnson also from Pittsburgh. And, I don't know if I'd start him week 1, but you got a healthy Ben Roethlisberger playing with Juju and James Washington. He's going to be successful. Definitely worth having on your bench. You got Ronald Jones on your bench. And that's another one, Tampa Bay. You're going to have to wait and see. You just have to wait and see how Tampa is going to use their running backs.
Ronald Jones was an early pick by me that I picked up because I was like, oh, Ronald Jones is going to be the man. And then I blame Tom Brady for this round. I blame Tom Brady for the fact that Leonard Fournette got picked up because if Jameis was there, they just would have stayed with Ronald Jones and it would have been fine.
You have a nice handcuff in Chase Edmonds in Arizona. So you have a very solid bench. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an A.
All right, I got an A. I would play Russian Judge on myself, just because I drafted Ronald Jones, and he's he at the time it was a good pick, maybe not anymore. And then I picked Kamara, and like I was really debating Kamara over Dalvin Cook. I chose Kamara because I was like, okay, his contract situation is a little bit safer. Then turns out, what do I know? And then Nick Chubb, I was a little scared of the backfield sharing with
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, and I was like, no, but Nick Chubb, like Kareem Hunt was there half the year last year, and he still rushed for like 1,200 yards. So I was like, he like to be the second pick was like safe. But looking at my team in hindsight, I would give myself a B. I would give myself a solid B.
All right. I still don't like Terry McLaurin, but I'll still give you the A because I think you have a solid team, a complete team, and you could manage that team very well.
All right. So let's go to one of our favorite people in the world, let alone draft names. Let's go to the Lynch Mob. I'm sorry, not the Lynch Mob. He is he is beast mode in this. He likes Marshawn Lynch, and last year his name was Lynch Mob. This year his name is beast mode. Great guy. Let's talk
takes
about
forever it takes forever to draft, but,
yeah. We had to ring a couple times.
But once we look at the total picture, he put together a decent team.
Yeah,
it could have been worse.
He got a standing ovation on a couple of picks. I was shocked. I was shocked. One of them he picked. I'm sorry going out you, beast mode, but you picked Rob Gronkowski number 3. I'm just going to out that right
Lord
now.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna put that out there. But like I look at his team and yeah, like some of the stuff that he did, like Rob Gronkowski that early. Tyrell Williams, which was already injured really low, and then he has a handcuffed tight end, which I think is incredible. He has OJ Howard as his handcuffed tight end.
Yeah. In theory, OJ Howard should outperform Rob Gronkowski. In theory, we have to wait until week 1 and see how that team meshes with each other with 3 quality tight ends.
Right.
Beast Mode does have OJ Howard. He also has Austin Hooper, who I would probably start over both OJ Howard and Rob Gronkowski.
I would too.
But he's got him, so he can manage this team. He's got Derrick Henry. It was his first pick.
Yep.
Who looks like he's hitting his stride. I've had him ever since he was a rookie, and he's been kind of hit and miss week by week. But I think this year, I think he's going to be a lot more consistent.
And there's no controversy anymore. Before, like they had Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis was there, and like the whole time Lewis was there, they were trying to figure out if Henry could carry the load, if he could catch passes and stuff like that. And he's not a pass catching running back, but they'll give him a couple passes. They'll throw a couple screen passes to him, and now he is the man. Like there's no one behind him. They have a rookie behind him that no one really knows about. He's basically Tony Pollard. He's the super handcuff. This is now Derrick Henry's team.
Absolutely.
So he's going to be the bell cow. He's a good solid pick. Chris Godwin was his second pick, another good solid pick, and then he got AJ Brown. He got AJ Brown in the 4th round, so he made up all for Gronkowski with getting AJ Brown, in my opinion.
I think so. Yeah. Very consistent. And again, in this league, we need quality wide receivers. And Beast Mode managed to pick up quality wide receivers. He also has Michael Gallup, who, there is a chance that he's the best receiver, or as far as fantasy points goes, the best receiver on that team with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
Just because there's so much talent, Amari's going to get the double team. And then I think later CeeDee will get double teams. And guess what? Michael Gallup did not disappoint last year.
No, he did. I feel bad for Gallup because he's the forgotten guy. Like you have Amari Cooper, who is the former number 1 pick, the guy they gave the big money to. You have CeeDee Lamb, they gave him the number 88. He's the heir apparent receiver. And then you got Gallup, who just quietly put together a beast season last year and has gotten nothing but glowing reviews this year. So
he's got Emmanuel Sanders on his bench, who
right.
I'm very big on that. He's going to benefit because Michael Thomas is going to get more attention. Jared Cook is going to get more attention in the passing game. And Emmanuel Sanders is a top-notch veteran who's still got it. And he's pairing him with Drew Brees because Beast Mode has Drew Brees as his quarterback, which is, can't get more consistent than that unless he gets hurt. And if he gets hurt, he has Kirk Cousins on his bench, which I think was a solid backup.
It's really smart. And I want to say his most underrated pick, which I laughed at then, but now I'm looking at it, it's like, dang, that was a really good pick. He picked up Sony Michel.
Yes, because this Damian Harris is injured.
Right.
I think they released Lamar
Miller. Yeah, they released Lamar Miller. Harris is on IR. So, and you got Sony Michel, who was hurt all training camp. All training camp, he wasn't playing. He wasn't doing anything. All of a sudden, he comes in. Now he's the lead running back again. Of course, there's always James White that's going to take away everything from every running back in New England.
They've worked together in a bigger committee, and they've both been able to put up enough fantasy points each.
Right, and Sony Michel is going to get all the rushing touchdowns. So, I can't give Eric a bad grade here. Like, if anything, I'm going to give him a C+, and I'm only giving him a C+ just because Gronk at number 3. It's the only reason.
I would agree with that. I'll give him a C+. He also has the Patriots defense, which if this was last year, I'd give him a friggin' A+. But they just have too many opt-outs, and I think they're going into a bit of a rebuild mode. So I'm not that big on him. He's got Will Lutz as kicker. Can't go wrong there.
Nope, they're going to score a lot of points.
A C+, and this is a great improvement from his draft strategies years past. This is a very manageable team.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna give you another clap.
He deserves another ovation.
Good effort. All right, so the next person that picked, and this is a rookie. This is a first time picker, and again, another team that I'm actually really jealous of is Straw Hats.
There were some surprising picks when it came later to picking up bench players.
Oh yeah,
flashed some knowledge of these rookies coming in.
I was a little bit shocked and upset. I almost felt like he was looking at my draft guide because there's a couple players on here. And I was like, oh, I'm going to pick this guy up. I'm just going to talk about right now. There's T. Higgins, who you talked about. There's Joshua Kelly, who I'm really big on. I feel like he might take over as number 1 running back in my opinion. I mean, Eckler is great and all. I think he's good. This is the first time he's going to be a number 1 running back. Joshua Kelly has done nothing but shine ever since, and he's come out of UCLA. No one cares about UCLA football, especially.
I think he broke records at UCLA for rushing yards. Like he's got experience.
Yeah, he killed it at the Senior Bowl. He killed it at the Combine. Everything that Kelly has done up until this point has been almost immaculate, and I think that he fits more of a role of an every down back than Austin Eckler does. So at the very least, it's going to be a committee style, and I think he's taking over as number 2 running back. And I was really targeting Kelly, but he got to him first.
He's got Dak Prescott as his quarterback. I think Dak will have the best season of his career.
Wow, even last year.
Not only because of his contract situation and he wants to get paid, the talent. He's had talent around him before, but Jesus Christ, he's got so much talent, so many weapons right now. He still has a great offensive line, even though they have an injury here or there. They have depth to compensate. He's going to put up great numbers. He's got Dalvin Cook, was probably his first pick in the draft.
Dalvin was his first pick.
I was concerned about the contract situation, but everything seems like we're ready for week 1, and he's still Dalvin Cook. Raheem Mostert is his second. 49ers, as you know, best running team in the league last year. I think maybe neck and neck with Baltimore.
They were second best, but they were the best as far as running backs go. Because
they don't have Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. They got Jimmy G in his bum leg.
I mean, Mostert is a track star. Like any one of those, it's just a matter of which running back is going to do better on the 49ers. Whether it's Telvin,
Telvin Coleman.
But I think I would bet my money on Mostert.
Oh yeah,
getting the most touches and having the most success.
Mostert is definitely getting he's getting the number 1 carries. Like there's still going to be a committee. They have McKinnon back. He's going to get most of the passing work, but it's Mostert's team. It's just like I don't know what Matt Scientist Shanahan wants to do. I mean, you can obviously tell I'm a 49ers fan, but he Mostert, especially at the end of the season, if he would have put up the same numbers he put up at like the last 7 games, is that track during the whole season, and he would have been 1,200 yards. So
I mean, Matt Breida at one point was like the leading rusher in the league. So I mean, the 49ers are built to run the ball. It's just a matter of who. Let's see here. He's got Chris Thompson on his bench. I was thinking about sending him a trade offer because I really want Chris Thompson for the first few weeks.
So do I.
It's just that I don't want to give anyone up. You know, I was thinking about the only equitable trade would be DeAndre Swift, but I don't want to give him up because I think Chris Thompson right now in the first few weeks is going to do fantastic in Jacksonville. He's a receiving running back. He's familiar with the coaches from Washington. They're now in Jacksonville.
Yep.
They lost Fournette, obviously. They brought in Devontae Freeman to talk. Just didn't sign him, and it doesn't look like they're going to sign him. That's the only thing that I was thinking about. In depth, I know one of the players is out with COVID. I think another player, running back, is out. So it looks like that's kind of what they have there is Chris Thompson. So if I'm him, I would start Chris Thompson in the flex over. He's got Devontae Parker there now. I like Devontae Parker. There's some good wide receivers on this team here. Tyreek Hill. Come on, it's not even worth talking about. He's got Robert Woods.
Right. His receivers are like in a receiver heavy league. His receivers are freaking amazing.
Yes.
Like he has Brandon Cooks and Anthony Miller on his bench.
Anthony Miller coming into the league, I say he looked like Antonio Brown. It sucks that he's on the Bears. But Anthony Miller has the potential to be a top wide receiver. Just get him the ball.
Right, and this thing, like he was hurt last year. He like a lot of people don't understand that he had a similar injury to Odell, where he was playing hurt pretty bad to the point to where he couldn't be his full self, and he was out a couple games. This guy is freaking good, and I was trying to get him, but again, Straw Hats went and swooped him in and got him, and he has a Steelers D who, in my opinion, is the best defense in the league.
They had nothing on offense last year. Nothing. Zero. Their defense single-handedly won them games. So,
yes.
And now you got Ben back, who can actually keep their offense on the field. keep the other team's offense off the field for a long time. So this was a no-brainer. Was this the first defense taken, or is the Niners the first one taken?
I think. Let me look. Let me look at my draft sheet.
No, we can figure that out later.
You know what? New England was the first defense taken by
one
beast mode.
Well, that's our beast mode.
Yep, he lives in the last year, so
yeah, last year I would agree with it.
So the Steelers D is huge. The only reason I would say they would even be bad is because the offense is going to be so good in Pittsburgh. Like, their offense is going to score so many points that teams are going to have to try to shoot out with them to stay close with them. But then that's just interceptions, pick sixes, fumbles, sacks. I'm like they have like a Kansas City style defense, except they're good. They have good players. So his team scares me, and he has Booker as his kicker.
Yes. Well, that's just points.
Yeah,
it's just points.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and give him an A. I can't give him an A+ because, again, those are reserved for special.
Yeah, just a special tier.
Yeah, there's one particular team that I would say deserves an A+. We haven't got there yet, but we're going to move on to. This is the 7th pick of the draft, and this is Peaky Blinders. And I like this team. It's serviceable. I'm looking at his receivers now, and damn, in any other year, I would say that it's literally the two best receivers in the league. He got them on one team, which is kind of unheard of. But we don't know what's going to happen with D-Hop. Michael Thomas, you're wondering if it's even going to be possible for him to mirror what he did last year, especially with Emmanuel Sanders being there, because there's no reason for him to do that. You do that out of necessity, and there's no need to feed him the ball all the time now.
No, it's just that I think, we talked about it. He's got two of the best receivers. Michael Thomas will drop off a little bit, but it's still, you can't pass on Michael Thomas. Wherever he picked him up, in a league where we need wide receivers, he managed to get two real number ones. His running backs, Le'Veon Bell is a huge question mark just because of that situation. Huge. No one is happy playing for the Jets. No one. The most amazing players like Jamal Adams, they just can't keep them happy on the Jets. Le'Veon Bell is amazing. Maybe he'll consider it a big middle finger to the Jets if he balls. I hope he does because he's so talented. But I'm not crazy about Le'Veon Bell in general. He's got Cam Akers, rookie. Could be amazing, but we just have to see it first.
Right, and he picked him pretty high. He got him in the fourth round, which I think is a little high. I was big on Akers. I was going to shoot for him at number 6, but I didn't want to go too rookie heavy. And Akers was on my board. If I didn't get Jonathan Taylor, then I would have had Akers on my team. But at 4, that's high.
Well, he had no choice because, again, in our league, running backs are gone real fast.
Thanks.
He's got Phillip Lindsay in his flex, which is great for the flex. I think
that's a great flex pick.
They know how to get him the ball. Yeah, he's small, but they know how to get him the ball. They're going to stretch the field with these wide receivers. They have serious threats.
Denver's
going
good
downfield. They have Melvin Gordon, who I think will be the bell cow. I think he's going to be the one to move the chains. But they know how to get the ball to Phillip Lindsay. Phillip Lindsay knows how to get into the end zone. So at this point, with the available running backs, where Lindsay was drafted, I think he had to, and he's lucky to have him in his flex.
I was banking on, like, Lindsay is always one of those guys that I want to pick up because he's always going in the 7, 8, 9 rounds. And it is. He always plays above his draft grade.
Yeah, because he was never supposed to be the man there. Never. That's not since day one. It's supposed to be Royce Freeman. And they know how to get him the ball. So I'm looking at his bench, and that's where he's going to be hurting at running back. He drafted Damian Harris, but he's on the IR. That happened after our draft. Malcolm Brown, backup for the Rams. I think he's far down on the depth because of Joshua Kelly. So running back is something that he's going to be really got to try and look at the waiver wire and see who's potentially looking to break out.
He's definitely Malcolm Brown. He's so Cam Akers is now, I guess, the number one because Henderson got hurt. And Brown, he's just like the vet that's just kind of there. He might get touchdowns, but that's it.
Because he has Cam Akers, he's obviously Malcolm Brown is the handcuff.
Right.
You're not going to start both of them. But yeah, this is a team where you're going to have to really, really look at the waiver wire and see where you can pick up another running back. Wide receivers, as far as depth, John Brown in Buffalo, definitely a good pick because Allen likes to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Fitzgerald won't go away, so why not have him on your bench?
He's not running away from anyone, but he'll catch 7 catches for 60 yards, and that's something. That's still in our league. That's still 9-10 points. So you take that.
No, Alan Lazard, you have to pick him up. There really aren't many weapons for Aaron Rodgers, and Alan Lazard is like 6'5", and
I did not know he was 6'5". I looked at him all last year and was like, he's 6'5".
Yeah,
but he's Alan Lazard. Like I picked him up on waivers last year, and he saved me a couple games.
Probably, and that's the thing. Devontae Adams. He missed some games. So with a healthy Adams, I think Lazard will be able to benefit from that because everyone's going to be worried about Adams.
Like he might get 700-800 yards in a season,
and Aaron Rodgers will get you the ball, so you don't have to worry about that.
Like he'll get you the ball no matter what. That's the thing. You don't have to worry about Rodgers getting you the ball. All you gotta do is catch it, and that's why no one else on the team could do anything because they can't catch. Like Scatling, he can't catch. Who was the other guy that just let go? He was other speedster, and they were like, "Goodbye, we don't want you anymore."
I know they have Equinemius St. Brown, never panned out.
He was hurt last year. They put him on IR.
He's fragile. I'm like, I shouldn't say this out loud. He'll come beat me up. He probably won't find me. His brothers are fantastic. They're still in school. Probably come out next year.
Probably.
Amon Ra, no Cyrus. But I don't know. I liked him at Notre Dame, but on the Packers, I don't know if it's going to work out with Equinemius.
We live in Los Angeles, so
I live downtown Los Angeles. This is all night. Lastly, he's got Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. Fantastic pick. I would have loved to have him on my team. It's just a matter of where he's going to get drafted. I think he'll have a great year, even though that team is kind of going to shit. That's the manager's, the GM's fault. He still has weapons. He still has targets. Yeah.
I'm really big on Deshaun Jackson, and now almost frees him up. He doesn't have that safety net to go to, but it's also one of those things where you don't have that guy that you have to force feed either. It'll make you be a better decision maker, and I think Deshaun Watson can do it.
He's got Brandon Cooks, who's been around. He's fantastic. He might even was he a first round pick when he was drafted? Maybe.
He was. I think he was late first round.
Amazing draft class. That says a lot about that too. How many amazing games did Will Fuller have last year and the year before?
If he could only stay healthy.
Yeah, he could. So he's got Will Fuller. He's got Kenny Stills, who can put up numbers.
Right, Randall Cobb.
So yeah, I think he's expecting a big contract extension. So I'm hopeful for Watson. He's got two tight ends.
He got his extension actually.
Did he get it? Okay.
Yeah, he got it. He's making money. He's making that dough.
Good for him. Happy for him. He's got two tight ends here: Hunter Henry and Tyler Higbee. Solid.
Very LA. Very LA. This team screams LA. Might as well just have on a Dodgers hat.
All right. Well, this is a manageable team. I don't know. The running back situation, I think, is. Hopefully, like I said, Le'Veon just balls out of his mind and plays to his potential and says to hell with management. Just does his thing. He'll be fine. Cam Akers, again, is probably the number one. The Rams, he's got the talent. Tough division. I wouldn't want to go against the 49ers front seven twice a year, but he's going to have to do it. As far as a grade, the running backs are kind of bringing this down a bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to say C plus, but it might be a C plus.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a C minus because again, like you said, Cam, to depend on Cam Akers is early. I would like having Cam in a flex position. Philip Lindsay, again, like you don't have enough running backs you can trust. He doesn't have a single running back really that he can trust on his team. Whereas at least every other team we've covered is like, oh, at least you have like that one running back that you can trust. His receivers save him because his receivers are going to put up points. Like no matter what, you're not gonna beat him at receiver. At least at the top two receivers. The thing is that they're going to go on by. You don't really know how D Hop is going to do in Arizona. I would give him a C minus just because the running back situation. He doesn't even have anyone on the bench that can really sub out. No. He's going to need to go to the IR or not IR, the waiver.
Well, Damian Harris needs to go to the IR.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to just put him there right now. All right, so now this is the 8th pick, and this is an interesting name. I like the name. My boy, I'm just gonna say your name, Max. Picked Winsome Where It Hurts. And yeah, this is an interesting team he put together as well. A little tidbit. Tom and I had a good time watching him draft because he looks like a mad scientist. All the time trying to draft. So I had to poke fun at you, Max, for you're going back and forth trying to do your picks.
It's like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's got the chart all over the wall, flow charts.
Yeah, and it's only fit him. He's Winston Where It Hurts. He looks like Charlie, so I think it's hilarious. So what do you think of the team?
I do not like it, even though he's our defending champion, and I play him week 1. He's probably going to destroy me, but I just don't like this team. His first pick, I want to say, might have been Aaron Jones, and I was dead set against Aaron Jones for a few reasons.
Yeah, I don't like only one.
I mean, I don't like the Packers in general this year. They have A.J. Dillon, who I am huge on. He's an absolute monster. I think Aaron Jones succeeded last year because he was kind of under the radar, and teams weren't expecting him. He had a couple of beast games.
And they had no one else. Like, everyone was hurt. He was the only one there. It's like, if you're the only kid that's going to show up on a team on, it's opening night, and like you got to score at some point.
No, he carried the ball a tremendous amount of times. There's no way he's going to carry the ball. He's not going to get the targets he got last year. There's just no way. Like, because of what you said, like there were no options last year. And with A.J. Dillon right behind him, who is a Saquon Barkley clone, pretty much. He's like Saquon Barkley on steroids.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get on the field week 1, and he might only get 5 to 10, carries, and they're going to be like, oh, well, you know what? Let's give him some more next week and more. So I don't think Aaron Jones is a great option for this season.
Yeah. Jones, like he had I picked Jones last year, and he literally saved my league because I picked
because
David
he blew
Johnson.
up. Yeah.
I picked David Johnson in the first round, and then I feel like the biggest like idiot in the world. But then I picked Aaron Jones in the second, and it was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And I easily would have taken Jones. I was thinking he would maybe fall to me in I thought I was going to pick him in the second round because all the other running backs would be gone, but Nick Chubb was sitting right there, and I'm actually shocked that I was able to do that. And I was like, I'll take Aaron Jones where I pick if it comes back around, but I'm not taking him with my first pick. I'm not taking him with the 8th pick overall. That's way too early.
Well, I mean, the mistake is drafting a player based on what they did last year. You have to look at the situation this year.
Exactly.
And I just don't see him touching the ball nearly as many times. He's got Devin Singletary as a second running back. I want to say he's kind of injured right now. Even if he isn't, it's in a similar situation where you have Zach Moss right behind him. And I think once Zach Moss gets on the field, Buffalo is going to face him out and have Zach Moss as the number 1 very, very soon.
Devin Singletary, and all I've been hearing in training camp is that he's having fumbling issues. He got hurt. Everyone's raving about Zach Moss, and they already say he's in the Frank Gore role. And the Frank Gore role, I believe Frank Gore was starting. So I like Devin Singletary. I also had him last year, but I picked him at like the 6th or 7th spot, so that was fine. I think on another team, if a team were to give him the ball and let him do what he does, he'd be good. But he's on Buffalo, and Buffalo already didn't trust him enough to where they had to get another young running back to fill the void. So I don't feel he'd be a good flex. I don't feel good starting him.
No, I just I'm literally not interested in either one of those running backs. I mean, watch him beat the crap out of me week 1, but I just, personally, in my opinion, I don't think either of them are going to get the targets, the touches that you need to have a starting couple of running backs. And his depth at running back is not great. Matt Breida we don't know where he is on the depth chart in Miami with Jordan Howard there. Latavius Murray is definitely a good option.
Right. So
and he did try and get that Reichwell Armstead, who is the backup in Jacksonville. He's the one who's out with COVID. I mean,
yeah.
If it wasn't for that, then yeah, this Armstead probably would have been a good option.
And I think that's the thing with his team is that I think his later picks were a lot better than his first picks. He was thinking too much. He was all over the place, and then he stayed all over the place. But I guess it paid dividends because Matt Breida, really good late pick, especially he got him pretty late, and I was shocked. And then he picked up Jamison Crowder. He has Bashard Perryman. That it's a Jets team that is not good, that is going to be throwing the ball a lot. So he picked up 2 high volume receivers on a team that is going to have to throw the ball a lot. I think Bashard Perryman is going to do phenomenal down there. And he got Sterling Shepard again. Another New York team that's not going to do well, that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. And I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Sterling Shepard this year. He's been
he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He just needs to stay healthy. He needs to, make sure he protects his neck.
The starting wide receivers here, Juju. Can't go wrong with Juju. With a healthy Ben.
Right.
With other options on the field to kind of, I mean, Juju excelled with Antonio on the field. He doesn't quite have Antonio on the field with him anymore, but I think he'll still be able to get some separation, and Ben will get him the ball. I don't have to worry about that. He's got Cortland Sutton, who I love, another huge wide receiver. He's also about 6'5". I like his situation there in Denver. I think he's going to catch a lot of touchdowns. It's hard to carve a guy who's 6'5" in the end zone. He's got Mike Evans. I wasn't huge on Mike Evans just because Tom Brady, I don't think he complements Mike Evans. I don't think he's going to give him the ball down the field. I think Brady likes more of his underneath throws to the slot receiver. I think Godwin will do well there, but can't pass on Mike Evans where he was drafted.
You were very PC about that. I would have said contrastly is I don't trust Mike Evans because Brady doesn't throw the ball to a receiver that's not wide ass open unless it's under 2 yards. So like Mike Evans, I feel bad. They gave him all that money and now they wasted him on old ass Brady. My opinion.
All right. So who does Wentz have as the quarterback? He has Carson Wentz. For all we know, he's healthy. Should be healthy for now. Everyone knows his history. Could change like that. I think he's a great quarterback. Doesn't have any weapons. Oh boy.
Yeah. He didn't have any weapons last year, and he still did.
Yeah.
The only thing, I'm actually big on Wentz. The only thing that scares me about Wentz is his injury history. Obviously, he gets injured a lot, and because of his injury history, he doesn't run the ball as much as he used to. And this is the kind of team the Eagles have that you need to run the football because you've got no other weapons. You've got Deshaun Jackson running down the field, and you got Zach Ertz running those like little, I guess they're go routes, but he just literally just runs 4 or 5 yards and looks back. That's all he has. And if those two are covered, what the hell else is he going to do? And his offensive line is now terrible. It's been ripped to shreds. So I don't trust him for that reason. He might do good. He also doubled up on his tight end with Ertz and Kelsey.
I mean, imagine this was a year ago and you have Kelsey and Ertz on the same team like that. That's just impossible. But I think it happened because people are probably expecting a drop off for Ertz.
And because we did change the rule, we went with the receiver tight end flex, and he chose to go double tight end with it. I don't know if he's going to do that, but it's a good option, especially if you're weak on wide receiver. But he's strong at receiver. He's weak at running back.
He's got Mike Evans in his flex, his regular flex.
Right.
Who could he put in that wide receiver tight end flex other than Ertz? He's probably better off with Ertz because I wouldn't do Crowder, Shepard, or Perryman yet. Maybe see how they perform week 1.
Right. No, and that's the thing. He doesn't have anyone else that you could really put in the flex. Normally, running backs go there, even though it's a flex. Like 9 times out of 10, you're putting a running back there.
Yeah.
His team doesn't allow that because none of his running backs are strong enough to put him in the flex, especially on the bench, unless like Kamara goes down or Raquel Armstrong ends up being the number 1 in Jacksonville. Breida, I'm big on Breida. He could win the number 1 job. It's still going to be a committee, but he's one of those guys that's going to go off for 120 yards and then 20 yards, and he's volatile. So
Fitzpatrick likes to throw the ball, and they have nothing to lose there. So
yeah, and so like I don't dislike this team, except for the running back. So I would have to get it a C-. Like he's really he has the 2 best tight ends in the league. At least comparably, like it was number 1, number 3 tight ends. So he's really strong there. Just tight ends are never strong unless you boost up their stats, which we don't. We just they have the same numbers as everyone else, and I don't think that that they could probably average about 80 yards a game, maybe with a couple more catches than usual. But I would want some stronger play there. I'd give him a C-.
Yeah, I give him a C.
All right, and so here's Elm Street Slashers.
Oh, jeez.
So this is the one we were reserved. I'm just going to give him a grade right now, A+.
Yeah, he's an A+.
I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this. I blame Tom for this.
I blame myself. Yeah.
He was picking in the number 9 spot, and just things happened to where he was able to land Joe Mixon. And then did he get Mixon first?
No, he probably took Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he got Jacobs first, and then it turned around and he got Joe Mixon. And
I whiffed on Joe Mixon, let him fall.
And it's one of those things where the draft just kind of worked out. It was the right timing for the draft for him because this was in the middle of Mixon having migraine issues. That was fake news. It ended up being contract issues. He signed his contract, and now he's paid. He's happy. He's been at practice every day. He's on a team that finally there's a quarterback who's going to open up the offense for him, and he's a number one. He was number 1 running back last year on a crap team with no offensive line. Now the offensive line is healthier.
Actually, the year before that too, his rookie year, he was fantastic. I had him that year. And now he's got offensive lineman back that he didn't have last year.
Right. Yeah.
First round talent.
Burrow's there, and at the very Burrow, we can't really say if he's going to be good or bad, except that he's going to be better than anyone who's been in Cincinnati since forever. So he's definitely better than freaking the Red Rocket. He's better than any other person they shuffled out there. So that's already great.
Don't sleep on his first pick was Josh Jacobs, who could lead the league in rushing.
Again, Josh, I have Josh Jacobs in literally every other league except this one, and it's probably because this is the first draft we did, and I think that's why I have buyer's remorse, especially with all the Kamara news. I took Josh Jacobs 4th in another league the next day because I feel like he's going to be that good. He has no one behind him. He stays on the field the whole time. The Raiders are going to be in the desert on a track, which is going to do nothing but speed up the process. And their division, especially with Von Miller going out for Denver, Denver's defense is not that good anymore. The Chargers, they have a good defense, but they're not fantastic. And the Chiefs score so much that you have to keep up with them. So no matter what, Josh Jacobs is going to put up huge numbers.
You have Henry Ruggs stretching the field.
Right.
And Darren Waller as a tight end stretching the field. So.
Everything is opened up. And then he got Lamar with the 3rd pick because it's literally just fell in his lap like a newborn baby. Like, just come on, man. So if you can't tell, I was really his first 6 picks I feel like were fire.
Come on, they're all fire. They're all number ones. Okay, let's go to his wide receivers. Kenny Golladay is a number 1 wide receiver. Allen Robinson is number 1. DJ Chark, number 1. And they're expecting incredible targets for DJ Chark in Jacksonville because Minshew, they're just going to air it out because they're going to be playing from behind. They really have nothing to lose. He's got Marquise Brown to pair up with Lamar in his flex. Tight end Blake Jarwin.
That's his only.
I think could be, it could not. He's an amazing athlete. I don't know with those other targets on that team. I don't know how many passes are going to Blake Jarwin, who's allegedly. I mean, he's not a real blocking tight end. He's more of a receiving tight end. I don't know how much he's going to be on the field. I don't know what their depth is like at tight end. But I'm not crazy about
the fact that Witten was playing over him last year for the most part.
Witten didn't look good. He still got the job done somehow.
Right, yeah. He caught the ball, fell down, and that's what he did. And the fact that that's all he did, and Blake Jarwin couldn't get on the field, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like he's what's there right now, and the thing is that, you know, Max took all the tight ends and also Eric took all the tight ends, so he might have some issue, but you can find a tight end that can score you 4 or 5 points maybe on the waiver wire. Like, someone's going to get hurt. There's going to be some other team. The New England, none of their tight ends got drafted. They have a rookie, Matt Asaitia or something like that. I can't pronounce his name.
I would take Cole Kmet from the Bears. I'm like, there's plenty of options at tight end.
Right, so there are options. So he could pick another tight end up somewhere.
I wouldn't mind worst comes to worst, Greg Olsen in Seattle. I would take him.
And again, so again, when we did this draft and Elm Street Slashers drafted, we didn't know everything else out. Like, Adrian Peterson was still on the Washington team, and now he drafted Antonio Gibson, like what, 8th, 10th, something like that.
This is criminal.
He has Brandon Ayuk, who was injured, still could be injured, but when he comes back, he could be amazing. Jordan Howard could give you a touchdown monster. He's got Darius Slayton, who was a touchdown monster last year. And like the one thing that, like, he was doing so good that he let his wife pick the kicker, and she picked Chase McLaughlin because of his name, the Indianapolis kicker that got cut. And it was like, you know, just to kind of like just laugh it off and everything like that. He got cut, and then he picks up Young Ho Koo, however you want to say his name, and he played for the Falcons, who were going to score a ton of points
and kicking indoors.
Right. So it's kind of like, seriously, the only way he can lose
we're not done yet, Garrick. He's got the 49ers defense.
Oh, God. It's kind of one of those things. It's like I want to give up. Just give him the money and just.
Well, we also have $80 to the person who has the most fantasy points in a week, right? So
yes. I mean,
that you might as well just.
Right. It's almost like you're just playing for second right now. You're playing for second, bragging rights, not to be last, because it's A+. Good job, Elm Street Slashers.
Let's move on.
Kudos to you. So we have I'm sorry. It's All Heart No Souls is what his we're using ESPN if you didn't know. That's what his ESPN name says. He changed his name all the time. But he also, his other name is the Comeback Rebels. And his team was, I think, the most peculiar team that I would give a decent score to. It is kind of all over the place.
This man has a strategy. I'll say that. You know, he plays chess while we play checkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
He takes a lot of advice from analysts. He's very big on news. So his first pick was Kenyon Drake, who I would have taken first, expecting huge things this season. As soon as he got to Arizona last year, he just blew up. Then he took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is a player that I should have taken, so I think I picked right next to him. You know, I whiffed on that, but we'll discuss that afterwards. Kansas City was built for Clyde Edwards-Helaire what they do there. To have that little bastard, that fast, you can just. I mean, I see him.
He's a little joystick.
He is, but he dances through that line, like, and God forbid you get him the ball, and pass the ball in open space. He's going to do amazing in Kansas City. So I think he's got 2 great running backs. He's got Amari Cooper, sharing the ball a lot in Dallas, but he's still number 1 for now. DK Metcalf, I think, is a touchdown machine. I wanted him bad. But that's what happens when you sit next to a player drafting like Manny. He sees your notes. I don't have notes, but yeah, DK Metcalf is fantastic. T.Y. Hilton, still the number 1 on that team. The only question is how often is Phillip Rivers going to have to throw the ball?
Right.
Chances are he's not going to have to throw it deep if he is throwing the ball. They're going to be a great running team. He's got great options to throw the ball to, other than T.Y. But I'm sure he'll put up decent numbers. He's got T.J. Hawkinson as his tight end. It's a fine choice. I know he had at least one 200-yard game. He's capable of that. A lot of targets, or a lot of shared targets in Detroit, I should say.
They are.
He's got Boston Scott in his flex. I think he's counting on. I thought this was a waiver wire pickup. Man, this guy he's as a micromanager. I think he's counting on Miles Sanders being out for week 1, which is still up in the air. I think Miles Sanders is going to play, but that question mark was there. That's why Boston Scott. Let's look at his bench. He's got Kyler Murray on his bench, and he actually picked Kyler Murray before his starting quarterback of Cam Newton. He's just playing the matchups, New England against Miami, so he'll take Cam Newton there. He doesn't want any part of Arizona versus the 49ers, but he has Kyler Murray. Great pick. He's got Christian Kirk on his bench. Pair him up with Kyler Murray. And N'Keal Harry, I guess this guy's diabolical because he's like the only target for Cam Newton. He hasn't really panned out for a first-round pick, N'Keal Harry. So I don't know. I mean, but there's no other targets there other than Wes Welker. Chris Herndon, I think, is fantastic tight end of the Jets. He's hurt last year.
I love Herndon.
I had him his rookie year, and he was fantastic. He was just hurt last year. He's got him on the bench. Preston Williams, I'm big on in Miami. He's kind of the number 2 there. Justin Jackson, Chargers, backup, running back. I mean, that's someone you have on your bench. You don't really have a choice. Yeah, I think you were right in your assessment where this team, you look at it and you're like, I don't know.
Right.
I just don't know.
It's all over the place. I don't want to call it bad. I don't trust T.Y. Hilton, and I think the Colts don't trust T.Y. Hilton because they went out and they drafted a receiver last year in Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell, who is fantastic. He was a little bit injured last year.
Yeah, he was a lot injured last year.
The quarterback situation was not great.
It wasn't. And I think they were scared because they had to depend so much on T.Y. Hilton. And if he didn't play, their offense suffered. So they also went and they got Michael Pittman Jr., who
was fantastic.
Who in my opinion, he looks a lot like Keenan Allen. And who you go pick up? You would go pick up Phillip Rivers, who's been throwing to Keenan Allen for 17 years. So
nice big target.
Right. And so T.Y. Hilton, I don't trust him to put up huge numbers like he did before. Yes, the quarterback play has been elevated, but again, if Rivers does have to throw the ball, which I don't think he'll have to because their defense is good, which Manny also got their defense.
Yes.
We're mentioning names because Manny always wants to change his name, so we're just going to call him Manny. Comeback Rebels, all around Rebels, Manny. I think everything is good. I don't want to give Manny an advice. He'll listen to my advice. I'll tell you this advice right now, Manny. Go look at Kyler Murray's stats against the 49ers and tell me you don't want to start him against the 49ers right now. Kyler Murray destroys the 49ers because
they have to get into shootouts. I mean, we watched these games together because we're such good friends. The first half, they trail. Then the second half, they come out with guns blazing. So right. I do like Arizona against anyone because they might not win, but they're going to give me some fantasy points.
Yeah, they're going to look good playing. I have Kyler in a couple leagues. I stayed away from Christian Kirk just because I feel like it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins and the Pips. Just everyone is going to eat. And Christian Kirk was supposed to be the number one. He never got to be a number one. I think Andy Isabella is gonna like really pick it up this year. I was really big on him, and he got off to a slow start, but he's one of those guys. He caught a 90-yard touchdown against 49ers last year. He's going to be really good. Another one of these guys that Manny picked up on the waiver wire was I don't know if his name is Divine.
I don't know who that is.
Ozigbo. He is the kind of number one running back. Chris Thompson is the pass catching running back, and he is the kind of de facto number one running back for Jacksonville right now, especially with Raquel Armstrong out. And he's going to get carries, and who knows, he might end up being one of those guys that's going to get 800, 900 yards. So this team is really interesting. It's kind of all over the place. I don't fully trust Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like he got him in a good spot in the number, I think got him in the 2-4 spot. That's a good place to get him, but he's a small guy on a team that is still going to be running back by committee. I don't trust T.Y. Hilton. I don't trust Hawkinson too much just because Matt Stafford doesn't like throwing to tight ends. I would give Manny a B-.
Give him a B. I feel the same way about that Hawkinson, where to me that's like a backup tight end. I think you can do better. Even now off the waiver wire, I think you can pick up better tight ends.
Right. I mean, he does have Herndon, who I'm huge on.
Oh, I would start him. Absolutely.
I feel like Herndon's going to be this year's Darren Waller. So, and I'm mad because he went and souped him. Like, of course, he's looking at our notes, sitting at our tables, taking all of our, like, using his analysts, which are sitting right next to him. All right, so let's go to the 11th pick, and this is a pick about here. So, how do you think your team did?
I had a strategy going in, and it's funny because this is exactly where I wanted to pick. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better scenario. I was drinking that day, so that went into my team. My first pick was Austin Eckler, and I knew that was the right pick, and I still think that was the right pick at that position. But when it came back to me, I had a player in my head that I couldn't get out of my head. And I don't use notes. I don't believe in notes. I had Miles Sanders in my head, and I just couldn't shake it. So I took Miles Sanders. Meanwhile, I could have had Joe Mixon or Nick Chubb. Like, there's plenty of other. If I had my wits about me, I would have taken. I could have gotten Miles Sanders on the next pass. At this point, I'm happy with it though, because I think it will pan out, and he will turn out to be a top running back. He's questionable for week 1. He's a little banged up, but I'm not too concerned. I could not pass on. Mark Ingram is my other running back, who I think for the first part of the season will be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The whole season, maybe not, but I knew that when I drafted him. I have plans. I have contingency plans for that part of the season. I couldn't pass on Odell Beckham in this wide receiver.
No, that's a good pick. Did you pick him number 4, right?
Probably. And then I got Will Fuller, and we talked about him. Yeah, we talked about Will Fuller earlier. Saw a player I definitely wanted because he can put up. Not only can he put up 100 yards, he can put up one of those games where it's like, oh shit, he's got 4 touchdowns.
What do you want for Will Fuller? Because I feel like there is a chance where he's going to have like 250 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Well, yes, because he's done it before. He can break out if he just stays healthy.
Yeah.
And they're going to throw the ball. I don't like that. They really don't have much of a running game. They have David Johnson and Duke. David Johnson and Duke Johnson, the Johnson brothers. No, and he's a proven. And since he has Brandon Cooks next to him, that made me want Will Fuller even more. In my wide receiver tight end flex, I have Jerry Jeudy, who I wanted. Like you don't know. You see him if you watched him in practice. I think he's going to be open on every play because I don't think anyone can cover him, or at least I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Yeah, my thing with Judy is I think he is going to be the number one at the end of the year. Like, Cortland Sutton's good. Judy
Cortland Sutton is a big body. That's why.
Yeah.
So no, and just having Sutton on the field with him is just going to create more opportunities for Judy. Noah Fant is going to create opportunities for Judy. You're not going to be able to double team anyone. I think. I am extremely confident in Drew Lock, and I knew that's the quarterback I wanted all along, and I knew that I didn't have to waste any draft capital on him. Regardless of what any analyst said, I knew that Drew Lock was going to be my quarterback. So I was able to get him at the very end. I used my draft capital on Evan Ingram. I took him relatively early. I knew I wanted him as my tight end. That'll be Daniel Jones's number one target, I believe. He's going to be healthy. I think he's just going to have an amazing year. He's in a contract year. He's healthy. Looks amazing in practice. I've got Miles Sanders in my flex right now because I think he's ready to go week 1. On my bench, I had fun with the bench. I like to take young players, rookies that I think are going to break out, or players that I just pretty much. It's almost like when you're trading stock, you get stock options. Like I want to buy the option on this guy. I want to have him locked up for when he breaks out. So it's DeAndre Swift, AJ Dillon, who I think is going to take over eventually. DeAndre Swift, I think, is going to take over eventually. We talked about his injury a little bit, so I'm not going to start him week 1. I have Melvin Gordon on my bench. I took a lot of running backs because I kind of panicked after I realized that I kind of whiffed with Miles Sanders as my second pick. So I just kind of panicked. I'm like, oh my God, I have to get running backs. Let's see. Defense, I went Cowboys. I think they're going to be amazing.
They are.
The defensive line is amazing. I love their cornerbacks. Safety's the only weak spot. We had other conversations about that. Weak division, I think they're going to feast in the NFC East. They do have to play the NFC West. That's the one thing. But I still think they're going to get sacks and interceptions. And they're not going to give up a lot of points. Ezekiel Elliott is going to keep that team on the field. Dak will keep them on the field. So other teams are not going to have the opportunity to score. So that spells success for the defense. And I got Greg Zerloin as the kicker. One of the best kickers in the league.
You picked him early.
Yeah, as soon as he signed with Dallas, I'm like, I want him because now he's going to be kicking indoors. That alone.
For a team that scored, they were like what, third in scoring? Like,
I want to say they were the best. Yeah, but as far as yardage, I think they were the best in the league.
Yeah, they were best in yardage. I think third in points. So yeah, that's easy. It's like you Greg the leg on the Cowboys indoors. The only thing they have to worry about is if he hits the scoreboard in the middle,
which is fun to do. And just on the bench, I off the waiver wire, I picked up Lynn Bowden as soon as he went to Miami. One thing I don't like is they have him listed as a running back. I thought they would list him as a wide receiver. I thought I'd be able to kind of cheat because he's a Swiss Army knife. Played quarterback in college, but he's a wide receiver and a running back. So that's just someone I want to store away. Chase Claypool with Pittsburgh. I'm kind of having him stored away. Let me see how he plays. I can't start him anytime soon, but I think he could be a endangered like DK Metcalf. I think he's going to be the next DK Metcalf. That's why I wanted him. Mike Gesicki as my backup tight end. In Miami, where they're just going to be throwing the ball. He's a former first-round pick in his draft, so I'm very confident having him to back up Evan Ingram. And Phillip Rivers is a backup quarterback because why not? I couldn't pass on him.
Right, and that was your very last pick, wasn't it?
No, I think I picked him up before Drew Lock because I knew Drew Lock was going undrafted.
Oh, you sure did. You picked up. You went back-to-back quarterbacks at the end, and you got Rivers first.
Yeah, just because he was there, I knew someone else would take him. And worst case scenario, I could trade him to the Carolina sad boy. He's got my Daniel Jones, so I might just swap Daniel Jones for Phillip Rivers.
I do like your team. You did go really running back heavy, so I thought that your receivers kind of suffered from that. Like, you did pick up Odell. I'm really big on Fuller, and the fact that you get to you're in a situation where you have good players you have to play. It's not like oh, I just have this stacked bench and I don't know what to do with them. It's like, nah, you got players that might break out that you kind of need them to break out anyway. Jerry Jeudy, he's like, you went obviously rookie heavy, so the jury is out on Jeudy. I think he'll be good. I definitely think he'll be good. I just don't I don't share in your glee for Drew Lock. I feel like they're going to have a lot of growing pains in Denver, especially with Von Miller being out. I think is going to be a little rough. I'm not big on Melvin Gordon because he wasn't good on a team where he was supposed to be the man, and now you got Philip Lindsay who already knows the system. And Melvin Gordon couldn't breathe when he first got to Denver. He was like, well, this mile high, it's hard to breathe up here. So he might be good later. He at least has a full training camp, but I don't trust him. I love like all the young players you have, like AJ Dillon is going to take over. Chase Claypool. Ben Roethlisberger said that he is like probably the best rookie receiver that he's ever come across, and he's been around a lot. He's been around Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Juju Smith-Schuster, all of these young guys he's been around. And he said Chase Claypool is probably the best one, at least the most knowledgeable one when it comes to what he's supposed to do with his role. So he could be flat out amazing. I mean, your team is good. I see where you work. Like Miles Sanders, I would have picked him in the first round. So I understand where you were going with that. I would have picked him. He just got hurt when we did our draft. And I think like it being set in your head, because he was set in my head too, but me picking at 4, I had to go with the safer Kamara. But if I were picking where you picked, I would have picked Miles Sanders first. So kudos. I would give this team a B. Especially, I think Odell's going to be your breakout player. I think Odell's going to go ape shit this year.
Poor choice of words.
I made a pun and didn't even know it.
I'll agree with that. I'll take a B.
All right. And here's the last pick of the draft. This is the person who picked 12, which is kind of the bittersweet position. I personally love, when I was doing all of my mocks, I was picking 12. I like picking 12. I feel like there's a lot of good strategy to be had picking at the very back end of a draft. This is San Diego Kitten Mittens.
You got to have top running backs. He's got Todd Gurley was his first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Big question mark for me just because of his health. He's got, arthritis doesn't go away. He's playing, seems to be healthy.
Well, to be fair, his first pick was he went receiver heavy too. He went with Devontae Adams first.
Okay. Okay, then I can't blame him for that, because you need, in our league, you got to have top wide receivers. He was probably, he had to be the best wide receiver available at that spot. And he wouldn't be available by the time the draft got back to him.
No.
Just the running back situation, though. With Todd Gurley, fingers crossed for Todd Gurley. If he's healthy, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
David Montgomery, I don't think he is healthy, and I don't think he'll be able to stay healthy.
No, he had a really bad hamstring injury, and that's bad. Like, he's not going to be good until halfway into the season, and that's a if. Like, he might be able to play, but he's not going to be playing 100% all year probably.
Yeah, and the Bears just not being a good team, they're not going to be able to sit back and run the ball. So I don't like David Montgomery as, in that position as your number 2 running back. Wide receiver Devontae Adams. He's pretty much, that's what Aaron Rodgers had, and Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, and he could still get the ball to Devontae Adams. He did it last year. Took him to the playoffs last year. Don't know how they did it. It was basically Rodgers and Adams. Yeah. I would actually like to see him take Aaron Rodgers. I don't know where Aaron Rodgers is in our league.
He is. Whose bench is he sitting on?
He's sitting on someone's bench. Yeah. Mr. Mittens has Tom Brady as his quarterback, which should be solid. Brady does not throw interceptions. That's always good.
He is this year. That's just me though. Risk it or biscuit.
Yeah, it's kind of a whole new ball game for Tom Brady. So we're gonna have to see. No preseason to get a look at him. Tough division.
He's already seen now. He can't even go to the right house. I'm sorry. I'm talking a lot of crap.
I remember that. Well, Devontae Adams, he's got Julio Jones. Julio Jones is still Julio. Personally, I like Calvin Ridley more than Julio Jones, but you can't pass on Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Keenan Allen, now he's got some nice wide receivers here with Keenan Allen as his third one.
Yep.
flex, he's got David Johnson. So, yeah, this is where he gets a little bit weak at running back. I'm worried about his running backs. He's starting David Johnson, who is not the number one there. Oh, no, David. I'm confusing with Duke Johnson now. David is the number one there. You got to worry about his health, just like Todd Gurley. These are older. I hate saying Todd Gurley is an older running back, but he's just hurt. He's got the arthritis.
Yeah.
I don't know. All three of these running backs, I don't know how long they're going to be able to stay on the field. And let's see. On his bench, he's got Kareem Hunt, which is a great option to have. I wouldn't mind starting him. Just got his contract extension, so obviously the Browns plan on using him. He can catch the ball, and he was a former starting running back. It's just you've got Nick Chubb ahead of you. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to take Nick Chubb's job, but he's still going to be a big part of the offense.
Yeah, he's going to be the 1B. So there's something. I
think you might have to swap out David Montgomery for Kareem Hunt in this starting lineup, even for week 1.
Maybe.
But let's look at the running back depth. He does have Tevin Coleman, and any one of those 49ers running backs, I think, is a good option. Mm-hmm. You could probably start any of them because I think they're all going to get their touches. Madison on Minnesota, great pick. It's the handcuff for Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
How much is he going to score with Cook playing? Probably not, because Cook is good for 20 touches a game. Like, he's a real bell cow. But if something happens to Dalvin Cook, which could happen, which has happened, Madison feasts. So that's a great player to have on your bench. He's got Tony Pollard from Dallas. I don't see Zeke ever coming off the field. Yeah. But if he does, Tony Pollard proved that he can step right into those shoes and put up basically the same
absolutely
numbers.
Like I don't want to sound like a hater or anything, but I feel like whoever is the Dallas starting running back is the best running back in the league because their offensive line. Yeah, they've been the best offensive line for like the past 12 years. So,
and now they have some serious deep threats going to stretch the field. So it's a good situation at Dallas. He's got some depth at wide receiver. I think one of his last picks might have been Curtis Samuel with Carolina. I think it's a fantastic pick. I wouldn't mind starting him pretty much any week. Let's see what they do week 1. I love DJ Moore. I think he's the number 1 there, but Curtis Samuel has always put up really good numbers.
And they're going to have to throw the ball a lot because their defense is probably the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, and Teddy Bridgewater has nothing to lose because the number is they want a new quarterback. Fine. Let Teddy audition for another team. That's fine. Darrell Henderson is just more depth at running back. He's down on the depth charts for the Rams. Why not have him? He's got AJ Green. That's kind of he's very strong at wide receiver actually. So
yeah, he's really good at wide receiver in a wide receiver heavy league. So
yeah, it's just the running backs are kind of probably going to bite him in the ass at some point because he doesn't have depth there.
Yeah, his team is a bunch of maybes, and that's the problem with his team is that every week, if this was my team, I'd be questioning who to start every single week. It's like, is David Montgomery going to be healthy? Is Todd Gurley going to stay healthy? As far as Keenan Allen,
David Johnson going to stay healthy?
Right, like David Johnson. You got the Broncos defense, and now they look terrible now because Von Miller's gone.
Keep Talib retired. Yeah.
Yeah. You got AJ Green. Is he going to stay healthy? You got Kareem Hunt. Is he going to get yards? You got Tevin Coleman. Is he going to get yards? You got there's so many maybes and handcuffs and maybe could be's on the team that I don't think is strong enough. It's funny because if all of these picks hit, like if Todd Gurley turns into, Todd Gurley, I mean, even if he's like just 75% that's a good pick. David Johnson, if he doesn't get hurt, that's a good pick. I would be big on Keenan Allen. He's a fantastic receiver, but I don't trust the quarterback play in I was going to say San Diego and for the Chargers anymore.
Right. Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Tyrod Taylor. I think he's solid. He's professional. I think he'll do well. I think Keenan Allen will still get his targets. So I love his wide receivers.
I mean, his was like Julio Jones and Devonta Adams, there's no doubt amazing receivers. Curtis Samuel, I'm only doubting him because they were kind of trying to get rid of him before the season started. They were trying to trade him. That doesn't mean anything.
Because I think he has value. That's for a team that's looking to rebuild. You use your assets. Probably pick up some draft capital.
Right. He's one of those guys that has never. Like, he's always been under the radar. DJ Moore came in and he was supposed to be number 1. They brought in Roddy Anderson, who he's now supposed to be like that number 2 field stretcher. So you have Curtis Samuel, who's just been there and is just kind of always caught the ball and just kind of shut up and ran his team. But it's just there's so many question marks with the team. Like, I feel like
Jack Doyle at tight end is worth mentioning. I think it's an okay pick. I think there are better.
Well, yeah, he
options.
Don't want to call him out, but you have to tell him, it's like, hey, you don't have a tight end.
Oh, well, that happens. When you get mentally, when you start looking at a position, sometimes you might. Usually it's like a kicker or something, or defense. Like, oh shit, forgot that.
You can look at his team and you can tell, like, he was really. I think he got fixated on trying to get running backs too, especially late. Because like his running back position isn't the strongest, so he was trying to play catch up and getting as many handcuffs and as many
There's 5 running backs on the bench, so yeah, that's definitely true. And again, I did the same thing, and I drafted right next to him. So yeah, when you're in that position, you can kind of panic and just grab all the running backs you can.
Right, and this is the thing with this league and the tight end. Tight end is there are so many tight ends that can do good. Jack Doyle is not a bad pickup to have as. I think he got him in like the 14th pick. You get Jack Doyle then. I mean, he especially with Phillip Rivers. You know what Phillip Rivers did with Antonio Gates, and it's like, oh, there's Jack Doyle here, playing in a dome, catching passes with his soft hands. Like, he did not do bad for himself. He literally has no one else, and he's going to have to go to a waiver wire, which is really soft. I mean, you have 3 Tampa Bay tight ends gone, thanks to Eric, but they're gone. So I would give this team I feel like we have to, like, if we're giving out A+, we have to give out bad grades. I'm sorry, Carlos. I'm sorry, San Diego Kid Mittens. I would have to give this a D plus. I think I already gave out a D plus, but
I hate giving out bad grades, but I think he's getting screwed with these running backs. So it's probably C-. Your wide receivers A+. Love the wide receivers. Not crazy about Tom Brady, but I can't get past the running backs. It's just not. I don't trust their health, any of them.
That's the thing. The thing is that if Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt, if Dalvin Cook gets hurt, if Cam Akers gets hurt, all of a sudden, or if Nick Chubb gets hurt, all of a sudden he has a top starting, like a top 10 running back, like, just automatically. So it can't really get can't get on too hard. Like David Johnson, I don't think he's going to do good. Todd Gurley still has the potential to be like a top 10, top 15 running back, but it's almost like he placed his bets on, if one of these big running backs, which I just named 4 running backs, if one of those 4 running back gets hurt, misses any time, then their backup is going to shine. And not only does he have a lot of potential, and Carlos, I'm telling you this, so maybe we can work out a deal. You have trade potential. So, I will be trying to trade Alexander Madison to the person, Straw Hats, because they have Dalvin Cook as their running back. Like, trade him the handcuffs. Peaky Blinders, he has Cam Akers, so try to trade him there. Like, I'm even thinking, like, I got some decent running backs. Maybe I can slide you one, Kareem Hunt for Rojo. So, I mean, let's talk. Let's make a deal.
Very good.
Okay. All right. So I think we're done here. The season starts tomorrow. I'm excited. I know everybody else is excited. Everybody's been waiting for some semblance of sports. Basketball has been amazing, but it felt a little truncated. Baseball has been a weird, to say the least. Football is going to be the one sport that's going to start up as close to normal as possible. We didn't get a preseason, but at least we're going to get a full on-time regular season. I'm thinking it's going to happen. Hopefully COVID doesn't go too crazy, but that's why we got those IR spots. So I'm going to have a power ranking. These guys got a sneak preview. It's actually live right now. So if you go to the website, like right here, hold on, right there, I'm sitting there trying to point with my fingers. You'll see the website. Go there. You'll see my power rankings, and it's a crappy looking website. I'm working on it, but do what we can. Anyway, thanks. Enjoy. Happy football. Enjoy the season, and we'll see y'all probably every week starting today. All right. Check you later.